Hello. I was watching a video from rightwingwatch.com, although it was on their Instagram. They're worth a little follow if you like watching the right wing. But I saw this video and it really reminded me of all of the times that I was led through prayer. The preacher says the words, you repeat them, and you get to feel good about yourself because you said the words the way the preacher would say it, which is usually, the shepherd leading the people, and you're one of the sheep that are being led. So you're like, hell yeah, let's get this prayer. I was always pretty bad at praying, especially out loud. So when a preacher gave me the words to say, it felt good for me anyway, because I was like, yes, these are like the best words I could be saying. Granted, that is a pretty childish way of looking at being led through a prayer, but I think that there's still probably some like level of experience that people have that is similar, where it's like the preacher is saying these words, so they must be good, even when you're an adult. I came across this video, however, that is like that on crack. It is a video of a pastor leading a congregation through a declaration about this country, the United States, and like the politics within this country. And I don't know if I can really explain it that well. So let's just watch it and then we'll talk about it a little bit.
Let's say this together, all right? All right, just here we go. We decree and declare that America's executive branch of government will honor God and defend the Constitution. Our legislative branch, Congress, will write only laws that are righteous and constitutional. Our judicial system will issue rulings that are biblical and constitutional. We stand against wokeness, the occult, and every evil attempt against our nation. We now take back our God-given freedoms according to our Constitution. We take back influence at the local level in our communities. We take back and permanently control positions of influence and leadership in each of the 7 mountains. The blood of Jesus covers and protects our nation. It protects and separates us for God. Our nation is energy dependent. We decree America is strong spiritually, financially, militarily, and technologically. We decree evil carries no power nor authority, nor rights in our land, nor over our people. And finally, we decree we will operate in unity beyond denominational lines to accomplish the purposes of God for our nation. If you believe that, give God a big praise, would you?
Ooh, yeah, so cool, so good, right? So this to me is kind of scary, not because I think the prayer is doing anything, but more because I remember what it was like to have this kind of like trust in the person that was leading me through something like that. And it's scary to me because it's a room full of grown-ass adults who you would imagine would maybe want to take a second before saying all of these things and be like, maybe I need to, make sure I know what I'm saying before I just fucking read this card that is so full of buzzwords that it's hard to even follow along. I truly don't even think they know what they're saying when they're like, the occult and wokeness, like those things have just become sort of like throw at the wall when you want people to think that you're talking about something bad. But here's maybe the bigger problem and the bigger takeaway that I see inside of this. When you allow yourself to just be kind of spoon-fed something like this, and when you allow yourself to be kind of handheld through your beliefs on such a major level, it has, I think, reverberations throughout your life. Something that I've had to struggle with and kind of work my way out of after coming out of scenarios like this was defining what I thought about the world, was defining my belief system, and when it comes down to it, like the words that I choose to say. It's so much easier to allow other people to decide this is good, that is bad. I can say this, I shouldn't say that, I believe this, I can't believe that. There's a lot of like freedom in that when you feel like it has been decided, when you see leaders in your church or your community and you're like, surely they have put in the time and the work, so when they tell me something, I can be confident that this is the truth or some version of it that I can reasonably follow. Unfortunately for me, and I think probably a lot of people, this makes you pretty fucking lazy. You know, you can't do this in most settings. You can't just hand out a fucking crazy pamphlet for the entire room of 1,000 people to read like this in most places, because the groundwork has been laid here for that to happen. The denial of self-responsibility in this atmosphere has already been agreed upon. This man, whoever the fuck he is, I don't even care to find out. Usually I think I would do some like research and be like, here's all the bullshit he did. But for right now, we're just gonna, forget about it, because who cares? Who cares who he is? He's abusing his power at the pulpit to make people say things that he thinks. And who even knows where the fucking pamphlet came from? Maybe he didn't even write it. I feel like that would be even worse. He's just like, oh yeah, this is good. I'll make everybody read this. But whether or not he wrote it is really beside the point. The point here is that when you come from these kinds of spaces, you have been taught that belief will come from a higher place, will come from either God, the Bible, a pastor, some kind of leader in your church or community. And what I'm saying right now is that that is taking away your ability to critically think about what you believe, even the words you would like to say, and how you're carrying yourself. So then when you come out of these spaces, if you are so lucky to come out of these spaces, you can have a really hard time deciding, this is what I want, this is what I don't want, this is what I believe and why, and this is what I reject and why. The church loves to just spoon feed information and so-called wisdom, but that comes at the cost of developing your own sense of self and your own sense of morality. Without getting into too much of like the philosophy of morality, I personally think that it's important to develop your own sense of it, because even if you think it comes from on high, how are you supposed to know what is actually right or wrong? How are you supposed to test that system and make sure that you are aligned with the system if you can't look at the parts and be like, yes, this, no to that? That kind of thinking takes some serious fucking work and some serious honesty. And when you have people just handing things down to you like this, it takes the impetus off of you, which again can feel sort of freeing, can feel sort of relieving, because now you don't have to think about it. But if you're struggling with even what you like and what you don't like, what you are willing to say yes to and what you want to say no to, this could be a large reason why. We see here a sort of cultural snapshot, like they're currently talking about politics in the nation because that is a hot topic with the 2024 campaign coming up and the authoritarian push that we're seeing around the world also, getting its little phalanges up in here. But the format is the important part. The rhetoric will change throughout time, but this format is what the church holds on to. Spoon feed the congregation with the guise of them actually doing the work, all sort of covered by the umbrella of believing that everything they're doing and saying is correct anyway because they have the correct path. And that can be very dangerous for your sense of self. It gets eroded and shrouded very quickly under that umbrella because it is so much easier to just be like, yep, this is correct, this is right, I'm gonna just say this is good, we'll just keep moving forward with this. Everybody around me is saying it, I'm just gonna exist inside of this. This is my community and I will just keep rolling with that. I am here to say, as hard as it can be to get outside of that, especially when that's what your community looks like or has looked like for so long, it is worth questioning it. It is worth stepping outside of it, even for just a little bit, to sort of bounce ideas off of the protective dome that gets created in this intellectually stifled place. Of course, that's my bias, and this is just one example of a rather extreme group of people. Not all Christians and not all churches are like this, but that's just something for you to chew on. And here's something else for you to chew on. Become a witch, free your mind. 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 Become a witch. your mind.